Hi, it's Dennis Daly. The golden age of radio was one of the shortest golden ages of all time, yet during its run, radio brought about immense change in America. Radio brought us through the Depression and the Second World War, and then struggled on until television finally won the battle for supremacy in American media. Radio had begun just after the turn of the last century as dots and dashes, listened to by do-it-yourself radio enthusiasts. Then early voice transmissions brought radio into its first stage. By the 30s, the techniques were perfected, the networks were in place, and radio was on its way. The war changed everything, as did the coming of television. On the night of September 30th, 1962, when yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and Suspense signed off on the CBS radio network, the golden age ended. But radio's final 25 years were golden indeed. So join me now as we explore radio's last 25 years. In 1956, Nikita Khrushchev became leader of the Soviet Union. An uprising against communist control in Poland was brutally crushed. Later in '56, the Soviets would use tanks to put down a similar rebellion in Hungary. Olympic Games were held in both the summer and the winter. The Yankees beat the Dodgers again in 7 games. And on American radio, a wonderful show put together by the folks who brought you Gunsmoke. Fort Laramie ran. Its star was Raymond Burr. The show would only run for a year because Burr was tapped to play Perry Mason on television. And then we'll hear one of those great suspense episodes, an episode from that year, 1956, called Three Skeleton Key. It's a genuine classic.
At the gallop, ho! Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie, starring Raymond Burr as Captain Lee Quince. Specially transcribed tales of the dark and tragic ground of the wild frontier. The saga of fighting men who rode the rim of empire. And the dramatic story of Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
Looks like they're about ready to pull out, Captain.
Yeah. Walk back with me, Sergeant.
I never did see such a mangy collection of stock.
It's not a cavalry outfit, Gorse.
It sure ain't.
Most of these wagon trains heading west get through one way or another, but I sure don't know how.
I talked with Mr. Brown a couple of times. He seems like a good man.
He is. But I wonder how much luck a Missouri farmer is going to have taking a couple of hundred women and children through Indian country.
He'll make out, Captain.
I hope so.
Hello, Sergeant Gorse.
I beg your pardon, miss.
I was afraid we'd leave without seeing you again.
Oh, well,
And I wanted to thank you for last night.
Yeah, sure, miss.
Goodbye, Sergeant. And thank you.
Still water runs deep, Gorse.
How's that, Captain?
Never mind.
All I did was give her a little old knife. I bought it at the sutler's.
Never mind.
That's all it was, Captain. I just give her a little old present.
Sure, Sergeant.
Keep them wagons in line, two abreast, till we hit the river.
You're late getting started, Mr. Brown.
Oh, hello, Captain Quint. Only about an hour.
You're wasting daylight.
Yeah, we're pulling out now, Captain. Any of your men going to ride along with us?
No, but you won't have any trouble.
Like they say, Captain, Oregon or bust. You guarantee no trouble, Captain?
Out here, we don't guarantee anything, Mr. Brown. But you should at least get through to Salt Lake without trouble.
Yeah, I hope you're right. It's mighty lonely out there once you're out of sight of the fort.
Yeah, I know.
Well, thank the Major for his hospitality, will you?
No thanks necessary. Well, good luck.
Thanks. See you in Oregon sometime, Captain. All right. Good job.
Well, Gord, what are you staring at?
Oh, nothing, Captain. Just a train heading out.
You've seen a few hundred of them before, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
What's her name?
Who?
The girl?
Emily? Emily McCutcheon. Going to Oregon with her pa. She was put up real good.
You're all cavalry, Gord.
Yes, sir. Long way to Oregon. I hope they make it.
So do I. Yeah, come on. I missed coffee this morning. Let's find some.
There's a rider coming in.
Yeah.
Looks like a white man, dressed in buckskin. Hunter, maybe.
That's Will Granby.
He's a squaw man, ain't he?
Yeah, lives with the Arapaho.
Captain?
How are you, old horse?
Tolerable.
Ah, it's good to see you. You haven't been in 2 or 3 years.
Nope.
You come for supplies?
Come to parley. Got a proposition.
Huh? All right, come on in, Will.
Obliged.
Sergeant Gorse, will you have Mr. Granby's horse stabled?
Yes, sir. Come on, come on.
Sit down, Will.
Obliged.
All right, now what is it? What's your proposition?
I figured maybe to hire out to you.
You want a job?
Cavalry always needs scouts.
Maybe. You saying you want the job?
Why not? I know this country better than the hairs of my head. Better than any man except old Gabe Bridger. There's some few places I've been even Gabe ain't.
You're a mountain man, Will. You lived wild and free all your life. Why do you want to tie yourself down now?
Yeah. Ain't like the old times no more, Captain. Ain't pleasurable now. It's hard. Maybe it's a doing you cavalry fellers. Or maybe it's our own fault. Maybe we trapped too much. Took too much buffalo. I don't know. But I got me a young squaw. Prettiest you ever seen. I figured if I was to work, her and me'd eat regular at least.
Right now we have peace. We don't need any more scouts.
I figure you do, Captain.
Tell me, Will.
Am I hired?
I haven't got the authority to hire you. That'll have to come from the major.
No, I'd rather deal with you. I know you.
I can't hire you, but if you've got information, I'll make you a promise. At least I'll feed you and send you back with meat.
Yeah, meat I could carry wouldn't last long.
Then we'll go see the major.
Now, wait. I'd rather tell you, but you got to promise me one thing.
What's that?
That it'll be settled peaceful. They're my people.
Will, I'll do all I can.
All right. There's going to be trouble. Tribes are getting restless, all of them. The Arapaho even. Government promised them if they'd go to the agencies, they'd get food, meat. And that promise ain't been kept.
Yeah, I know. The supply train comes through now and then, but it's not enough, I know that.
The Arapaho are starving, Captain. Eating bark and roots. Game on the agencies played out. If they can't get food from the government or from the land, then they got to go looking for it wherever they can. They got to eat.
Well, have they left the agency?
They're camped at Silver Spring.
That's on the Oregon Trail.
They got to eat, Captain. They went looking for buffalo, but there ain't no buffalo. So they'll get food where they can from the wagon trains.
Well, we got to talk to the Major.
Did you promise?
I said I'd do all I could, and I will. There's not much time for talking. There's a wagon train headed for Silver Springs right now.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
All right, come on. We'll see the Major.
How do we know this man's telling the truth?
I've known him for a long time, Major. He doesn't lie.
Could be a trap.
If it is a trap, then there's trouble for sure.
I don't trust a man lives with Indians, marries them.
No, look here.
Major, there's a wagon train on the trail to Silver Springs right now. They got to be warned. I can still ride out with a detachment to turn them back.
Captain Quince, our orders are to keep the trail open to Oregon and to keep the Indians on the agencies. If anything, we'll send a company to escort the train through and run those Arapaho back where they belong.
Couldn't do that without fighting, Major.
That's one of the functions of the cavalry.
In this case, there's no cause for it.
The Arapaho have broken their treaty, Captain.
The way they see it, we're the ones who broke the treaty by not keeping our promise about food.
All I know is they're off the agency and they'll have to go back.
If we go out in force, there's bound to be trouble. If I take a small detachment, maybe I can talk to them.
This is a hostile action, Captain. It's got to be met as such.
Major, the Arapaho are starving. They got to eat.
Mr. Granby, I'm sorry that they're starving, but I can't do anything about it. At least not until the supplies come through to me. My orders are to keep the Arapaho on the agency, and I can do something about that.
Those are people out there, Major, and they're hungry. They only want food.
Captain Quince, you'll take Company B and escort the wagon train until you meet the Arapaho. You'll send the wagon train on and escort the Indians to the agency. And use whatever measures are necessary. That's all, Captain.
Yes, sir. One thing, sir.
What is it?
Have I your permission to hire Will Granby as a scout?
I don't see why it's necessary, but if you want him, take him.
Thank you, sir.
What kind of a man is that?
Oh, he's all right, Will. He's an officer. He's got his orders. He goes by the book. He understands the situation all right, but he can't admit it. Listen, can you be ready to move out in an hour?
I can't ride with you, Captain. They're my people.
Will, I said I'd do what I could. I need your help. Ride with me.
You know what you're asking? You know what it might mean for me if there's trouble?
There won't be trouble if I can prevent it.
I'm afraid you can't, Captain. But I'll go with you.
We should see him just over this hill, Captain.
Yeah, if the Arapaho didn't see him first.
You figure they'd attack?
I don't know, Sergeant, but I'll feel easier when we spot that wagon train.
I was right, Captain. There they are.
All right, Sergeant. Let's ride out. Company! At the gallop! At the gallop! Oh!
They're pulling up.
Sergeant, blind men would have known we were here. Company! Oh!
What's the matter, Captain?
I want you to stop here, Mr. Brown, for the night.
Oh, why?
We figured to camp at Silver Springs. Just over the pass there, not more than 2 or 3 miles. We can make it easy before dark.
This'll make an all right camp. There's water and wood.
If there's trouble, Captain, I want to know.
It may be nothing, Mr. Brown, but I want to find out. You to camp here and stay here till I give you the word to go on.
It's Indians, ain't it? There is trouble.
Maybe. Maybe not. But there's no use worrying all your folks. You'll be safe here. I'm leaving most of my men to guard you.
Well, why can't you escort us over the pass to Silver Springs?
Because if there were to be trouble, it would happen there in the pass, with the wagon trains all strung out and hard to defend.
All right, Captain. Whatever you say.
I'll come back or send word back to Lieutenant Seiberts as soon as I know it's safe here to cross. Sergeant Gort.
Yes, sir.
You and 2 men will accompany Mr. Granby and myself. Pick 'em and fall out. Mr. Brown, Lieutenant Seiberts is in charge here till I get back.
I don't see a doggone thing, Captain.
I'll keep a sharp eye. Move the troopers further out to flank.
Yes, sir. Jenkins, I don't see the right.
You need to hear somewhere that I can feel it.
Yeah, they must have seen the train, Will.
Yeah, they have, but they also saw the soldiers. They might be making tracks already. They disappear pretty fast.
I don't think they've had that much time. They'll probably stand for a fight.
And, Captain, what are you going to do?
Will, a few miles back, did you notice anything?
On the trail? Sure, buffalo sign.
Right. It's the first I've seen this close to Laramie in a year.
Mm-hmm. Big herd, too. Across the trail going south.
It'd make a lot of Arapaho meat.
Yeah, it might work.
Worth a try.
Wait.
You see anything, Will?
Yeah, one of the scouts. Leave it to me.
Señor Nina. Ya no seen now. Anita Ina.
Yeah, it's all right. They'll take us in.
This is the first Indian village I ever been in and it wasn't full of barking dogs.
They had to eat 'em. You notice how it is, Captain?
Yeah, I see. I'd say they're not very happy to see us.
No.
I'm sorry, Will, to turn them against you.
Can't be helped. Yeah, this is it.
Hi, Daddy Phil. Why do you bring white soldiers to fight your people?
They don't come to fight, Great Feather. This Captain Quince, he comes as a friend.
White soldier is not a friend of Arapaho. White soldiers break promise. They do not give meat.
I think I can get you meat, Gray Feather. I think I can take your hunters to Buffalo, a big herd.
You think. You do not know. Arapaho have ride from agency in north, hunt buffalo all through Wide Valley. No buffalo.
Gray Feather, on my way here from Fort Laramie, I saw much buffalo sign. You hunted only the north side of the river. You haven't been south of the Platte. I have. There are buffalo there.
To hunt take many days. Wagon train is here now.
If you attack that wagon train, it'll mean much fighting. Many dead among the Arapaho. Great mourning among the Arapaho.
There will be mourning for the white soldiers, too.
The Army will keep on sending soldiers, rifles, until the Arapaho is no more. You know I speak the truth.
My people are hungry.
Then ride back towards the fort with me. I'll show you Buffalo sign, then you can track from there.
Take many days.
It's the only way you can be sure to find buffalo and food.
If you find buffalo in 2 days, Gray Feather does not attack wagon train.
2 days isn't very long.
2 days.
If we do find buffalo, I want your promise to go peacefully back to the agency.
If you find.
All right, your hunters will come with me. But meantime, you must let the wagon train go through in peace.
This one. Maybe not next one.
It is agreed then, Greyfeather.
Aye.
Captain, 2 days ain't very long. We got to be awful lucky.
We don't have much choice.
You know what'll happen if we don't find buffalo?
Yeah?
There'll be just the 5 of us out there with Greyfeather's hunters.
Like I say, we don't have much choice. We got to guess where the buffalo will be. We don't have time to backtrack them. Sergeant Gorse.
Yes, sir.
I'm sending you back to the wagon train with a message for Mr. Seibert.
Private Jenkins' horse is freshered, Captain. I ain't been on no buffalo hunt in a long time.
All right, Sergeant. Jenkins, you'll go back to the wagon train. Tell Mr. Seibert to escort the train past Silver Springs, then return here and bivouac. If I should not return, he's to get clear if he can and report to the fort for reinforcements. Move out. Well, we got 48 hours, Will. Let's find those buffalo. You see anything, Will?
Nothing, Captain. Not on that side.
Nothing this way either. You can see a long way.
I don't like the look of them back there. Greyfeather getting anxious.
I know. I just don't understand it, Will. It's not a sign.
I've been thinking, Captain, we're too far south.
The buffalo were headed south.
Well, maybe not as fast and as far as we thought.
Maybe they veered east.
No, I've been thinking. It's been hot and dry for these last few days. No wind. Buffalo don't travel much in the heat. They just stand and graze and suffer with thirst.
But there's wind now.
Well, some from the southwest. But if there's up north of here, it'd bring them the smell of water from the Laramie River.
Yeah. Yeah, the river's still high.
Yeah, and they'd probably be craving for water about now, and they'd stick their noses into the wind and make a run for it, like they do.
You might be right, Will.
So if we cut back northeast to the Laramie, we'll find them.
They might be there. There's only one trouble.
What?
Look who's coming.
Uh-huh.
Captain, it is as Greyfeather spoke. You promised buffalo 2 days. Now 2 days are gone. There's no buffalo. Your promise is like all promises of white soldier.
We've been looking a long time, Greyfeather, but now we know where the buffalo are.
Captain, give much talk. We want buffalo, not talk.
Greyfeather, my soldiers are at Silver Springs. If we do not return there, it will mean war for the Arapaho.
Maybe you return, but he not.
It is not yet evening of the second day.
There is little time.
Maybe, but enough. We're going to the waters of the Laramie and find your buffalo.
On this next rise, we ought to be able to see.
That's right, Will.
What if they ain't there, Captain?
Well, if not, maybe we can get to the river, find some cover. So stay close. Watch for my signal.
Yes, sir.
You should have gone back to that wagon train, Sergeant.
I guess I ain't much of a garrison soldier.
All right, look sharp.
Captain, they ain't at the river. There's nothing.
Wait, look there. Coming over the hills beyond, running for the river.
Look at him. thousands of them. Noses in the wind and running belly bent for breakfast.
There go your buffalo, Gray Feather, all you can eat. Well, go on. Get 'em.
Sure was mighty hungry, Captain.
Yeah.
Well, I guess our luck held.
Yes, it did. Well, let's ride on down to the river. I could do with a drink. Coming in! Oh! Sergeant Gort, dismiss the company.
Yes, sir. Cavalry, prepare to dismount.
Well, you're back.
Yes, sir.
You have any trouble?
No, sir. No casualties. Either side.
You took long enough.
The Oregon Trail's still open, Major. The Arapaho are back on the agency.
What took the time?
Why, we found some buffalo, stopped the hunt. The Indians took enough meat back to the agency to keep them quiet all summer.
I see. Well, that was fortunate.
It was, mostly Will Granby's doing. He found the buffalo.
Oh, well. Maybe I was wrong about him, Lee. Maybe he can be useful to us.
I think he can. I brought him back with us. His wife, too. You like to meet her?
An Arapaho?
She's sure not St. Louis.
Sure. All right, Captain. Granby?
Howdy, Major.
This is Will's wife, Major. Lark woman.
How do you do?
Yeah, lawyer.
Mr. Granby.
Yes, sir.
If she's to stay around the post, she'll have to wear something more than that.
Huh? Oh, yeah. She's got a shirt somewhere in the baggage. See, Arapaho women aren't like Cheyenne or the Sioux or Crow. They don't wear much except when it's right cold.
There are a lot of men on the post, Will.
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Captain. I'll see to it.
Oh, and Mr. Granby.
Yes, sir.
My compliments on your work with Captain Quince. As of now, you may consider yourself on the Army payroll as scout. It'll be in tomorrow's special order.
Yes, sir.
The quartermaster will house you.
Obliged, Major. Come on, child.
Well, she's kind of pretty, isn't she, Lee?
Yeah. They make pretty good wives, too. Clean, quiet, hard-working. Nice people.
You wouldn't be trying to soften me up, would you, Lee? Win me over to your way of thinking?
I figure a man's got to make up his own mind about things, Major.
Captain Quince.
Yes, sir?
Don't get too smart. Just be thankful I don't ask how you happen to run into Buffalo and turn a serious police duty into a pleasure trip. Hunting.
My striker's cooking up some buffalo steaks, Major Daggett. You, like to come over to my quarters and try some?
Sure, let's go, Lee.
Fort Laramie is produced and directed by Norma MacDonald and stars Raymond Burr as Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry, with Vic Perrin as Sergeant Gorse. The script was specially written for Fort Laramie by John Dunkel, with sound patterns by Bill James and Ray Kemper. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Featured in the cast were Jack Moyles, Ralph Moody, Edgar Barrier, Frank Cady, and Eleanor Tannen.
Company, attention! Dismiss.
Next week, another transcribed story of the Northwest frontier and the troopers who fought under Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry. If people were money, life would be simple indeed. We could enter them in books in nice, regular columns. One for credit, another for loss. And as long as we kept the credit column higher, the losses wouldn't matter. Money spent can be re-earned, but people are not money. Every individual is irreplaceable. The time to care about them is now, before another victim is hurt. Obviously, heart researchers may not find the cures and preventatives to all heart ailments the moment you contribute to the Heart Fund. But the sooner you do your part, the closer they'll come to answering the mysteries of the heart. Send your contribution to Heart, care of your local postmaster. That's Heart, H-E-A-R-T, Heart, care of your local postmaster.
As I mentioned before playing that episode of Fort Laramie, during 1956, the people who had brought us Gunsmoke, Norman Macdonald and the rest of the cast and crew, decided to bring a show about the West to radio on CBS, of course. Fort Laramie and the star Raymond Burr and every other great actor at CBS Radio. But Burr was offered the part of Perry Mason. The show probably would have gone on for several seasons. It was that good. When I was attending Indiana University, I had a professor who loved radio so much he couldn't say the word television. His name was Leroy Bannerman. One day he sat us down and turned out the lights and played the episode of Suspense you're going to hear next, Three Skeleton Key. Presented several times during the run of Suspense. It's great radio, and it's very indicative of the kind of radio people were listening to in 1956. The sound quality better, the sound effects for the most part were on tape, and everything was clicking. Too bad there weren't that many years left for radio as we knew it. Now back to 1956, again to CBS, and Three Skeleton Key with Vincent Price on Suspense.
Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Among the great classics of radio drama, none is more memorable than Three Skeleton Key, although few who have heard it would remember it by that title. To them, it is simply that story about the rats. And that it is, an unforgettable experience in horror. We repeat it now because we can't help ourselves. We like to scare as well as you like to be scared. Listen then as Vincent Price stars in Three Skeleton Key, which begins in just a moment.
And now, Three Skeleton Key, starring Vincent Price. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Try and picture this place. A gray tapering cylinder welded by iron rods and concrete to the key itself. A bare black rock 150 feet long, maybe 40 wide. That's at low tide. At high tide, just the light rising 110 feet straight up out of the ocean. And all about it, the churning water, gray-green, scum-dappled, warm as soup, and swarming with gigantic bat-like devilfish, great violet schools of Portuguese man-o'-war, and, yes, sharks, the big ones, 15-footers. And as if this wasn't enough, there was a hot, dank, rotten-smelling wind that came at us day and night off the jungle swamps of the mainland. A wind that smelled like death. Set in the base of the light is a watertight bronze door. And in you go, and up, round and round. Over the light storeroom is the food storeroom, and over the food storeroom is the bunk room where the three of us slept. And over the bunk room is the living and cooking room, and over the living and cooking room is the light. She was a beauty, balanced like a ballerina on the glistening steel axle of her rotary mechanism. My companions in the light were an odd and opposite pair. Big Louis, the head man who hardly ever talked, and Auguste, who never stopped. But it wasn't a bad life, especially at night when the others were snoring in their sacks 2 levels down. Usually there was nothing to see across the starlit water, for most ships knew better than to come close to Three Skeleton Key. But one night, gazing out across the phosphorescent combers, I noticed something show for a second in the revolving light. Something far off. A three-master. A big one. About half a mile off and coming down out of the north-northwest, coming straight for us. I went over to the gallery door and yelled, "Louis! Louis!
What is it?
Ship headed for the reefs!"
They're right out.
I had the glasses out now. I couldn't read her name, but I could see her quite plainly. All sails set, the foam creaming away under her bow, her beautiful lines, but why didn't she turn? Every time our light turned, it hit her with the glare of day.
The ship? Where?
Northwest. The light will touch her in a moment.
Can't they see?
Look at her. She just keeps coming on.
Oh, the squareheads. What is it? What is it?
Watch northwest, August.
Huh? I know what it is. The Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman. She is derelict. That's it.
Derelict?
Abandoned. Crew left her for some reason or other, but instead of sinking, she's gone on, running before every wind.
She'll not run long. Not with these reefs to break her up.
Beautiful ship. Now, why would men leave a beautiful ship like that?
Impossible. Absolutely impossible.
What?
Here, take my glasses. They're stronger than yours.
All right. What is it you're... Breath froze in my throat. The decks were swarming with a dark brown carpet that looked like a gigantic fungus, but undulating, and on the masts and yards were hundreds, no, thousands, no, I don't know, an inestimable number of tremendous rats. We stood there, the three of us, frozen in terror, peering through our binoculars as the rat-covered ship gracefully, relentlessly bore down upon the quay, until at last, with a horrible certainty, splintering and grinding upon the rocks, she ran aground.
Look, the rats on the water, like a carpet.
They're swimming.
Oh, sure, they're swimming. Those are ship's rats.
But they're swimming for the rocks.
The door, below, it's open.
Come on!
And down we went, racing down the stone stairs, taking them 3 and 4 at a time. Scared? You bet we were scared.
Those two get the windows. Maybe they can climb. We don't know.
All right, Chief.
But hurry, hurry.
You see them?
No. Yes, I do. We're up at the other end of the rock.
Look at the millions. And they smell us. Here they come. Close the door.
I can't. It's
Snuggle. Here, let me.
Oh, move, you
Heave.
Made it.
Well, that was close.
One got in.
What?
Look, there.
Get him.
Watch it, he did.
Kick him. No. Brute.
He was as big as a tomcat, bigger, and his eyes were wild and red, teeth long and sharp and yellow. He went for us, starving, ravenous, and we fought him, fought that one rat all over the room. It was, oh, believe me, I do not exaggerate, it was like fighting a panther.
I got him. Got him.
As we ran up the winding staircase, we passed the tiny windows of the various levels, and every one was covered with a thick, wriggling, screaming curtain of brown fur. The air of the gallery was thick and fetid with the stink of them. The light was dim, brown, filtered through the crawling mass that swarmed over the glass all about us. We could not see the sky, nothing but them. Their red eyes, their claws, their wriggling, hairy snouts, and their teeth.
What can we do? What can we do, Chief?
Take it easy, August. Take it easy.
Oh, I can't. I just can't.
It won't do any good. Won't do any good to stand here and shake.
Go away. Go away. Do you hear me? Go away.
They won't go away. Not until the...
Oh, finish it, Chief. Not until what?
Not until they've been fed.
Someday, science will find a cure for infantile paralysis. But it takes research. And this year, your March of Dimes is forcing a showdown with this terrible disease. It's testing a highly promising vaccine in the hope of proving this year that it can stop polio from crippling your child. Now, you can give these crucial tests, which are costing extra millions of dollars, an extra chance to succeed. Your help in paying the extra millions for polio prevention is urgently needed. Join the 1954 March of Dimes. Send your dimes and dollars to your local March of Dimes headquarters this week.
All day long, we sat there in silent horror, watching the writhing mass trying to reach us through the glass, and then at last it began to get dark. One side of the room was lit a soft, filtered red. Sunset through the rats. Very pretty. I set the wicks, checked my fuel, and then lit the lamp. It caught them, lit them in their gigantic, wriggling web of pale, hairless bellies, twitching red tails, bright eyes. And then I started the rotary motor. The light drove them mad. As she swung slowly and smoothly about, she blinded them in the fierce, stabbing bar of light, moving continually about, ever turning, ever touching, ever moving around and around, and they twitching and shuddering, eyes flaming when they were struck by the light, blinking and twinkling like the stars of hell. Must make the most of any situation to endure it. And we found a way to entertain ourselves by teasing the rats. Sounds crazy, horrible. It was fun. We would get right up against the glass and make faces at them. It drove them crazy. They would scratch away, trying to get at our eyes. Louis was even cuter about it. He'd pull a piece of bread out of his pocket and press it against the glass. The rats would scramble into a solid ball, biting each other, clustering like grapes. From time to time, a whole lot of them would slip and fall the 110 feet to the surf below.
Look! Look at the sharks.
They're eating them.
The sharks are our friends. Oh, here, I'll get another bunch together. Here, little beauties. Yeah, that's it. Pile up. Kill each other. There they go.
Auguste joined in, too. Very ingenious, Auguste. He learned that if he spread-eagled himself against the glass, they'd bunch and bundle against his figure. Then he'd leap back.
Look! My portrait-eating rats!
I went off watch about midnight, and I was just falling asleep when I became conscious of a new sound. I couldn't figure it at first, so I got up, lit the lamp, and went to the window. Even as I looked at it, I saw one of the panes begin to sag in. They were eating the wood away. Louis, come quick. They found a way in. I held the glass with my hand. And now they were all going crazy, and assured of the success of this maneuver, they were nibbling away at the frame. Louis ran below and then returned with a large sheet of tin. We spread it against the window and hammered it into place. Even as we did so, we felt the heavy bodies thudding against the other side as the window gave way.
That ought to hold.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, we're done for.
Rats can't eat tin.
No. What was that?
I don't know.
Well, it came from below.
The storeroom window.
They're in. They're swarming up the stairs.
Drop the trap door.
Right.
Two of them got in.
Huh? Go after them.
We didn't have to go after them. They came at us. I leaped to one side and grabbed them on Spike, swung and smashed one in midair.
No!
I whirled to see Louis with the other. It had ripped his hand open, and the blood was pouring all over the place. He held his hand aloft and kicked at the snarl trap. I stepped, swung, and got him.
My hand. He got my hand.
It's both of them, Louis. I'll get you something to tie that up.
Bleeding. Look at it. It's my blood. I'm bleeding.
Don't worry about it, Louis. Now, look. I'll wind this kerchief about it. It'll be okay. There, now it's not bad, just the flesh. And then I became conscious of a new sound. They were gnawing their way through the wooden trapdoor. I watched the planks, fascinated, and even as I did, it began to give way. A bristling, whiskery snout showed through.
The gallery. The trapdoor in the gallery. It's steel.
Good. Come on. We made it. We lay across the trap, exhausted, while below us the rats took over the entire tower. I could hear them howling and fighting over our food supply, our water, our leather, and all about us the others screamed and glared in at us, swaying in a tangled mass, hypnotized by the ever-turning light. we'd been getting air from the tower below. Now that was sealed off. And so was all our food and water. We lay exhausted, panting, waiting, and the hours crawled on. I was almost dozing from fatigue when I heard something that brought me to my feet.
Would you like to come in, my beauties? Would you? I hold the powers of life and death, and I can let you in, you know.
Auguste was standing by the glass, and in one hand he held a big wrench. He was tapping the glass gently, not quite hard enough to break it. I eased myself to my feet and slowly, very slowly, tiptoed toward him.
All I have to do is tap just a little harder, and
So there I was, a lunatic and a coward for company, and all about watching our little drama, The Rats. The following day we lay, thirst-tormented, starving, waiting, and the following night I again tended the light. But the small supply of spare wicking we kept in the gallery had become exhausted, and quite suddenly at about midnight, the light went out. There was nothing I could do. Wicks were stored 3 levels below. Nothing I could do, nothing. From time to time I'd strike a match to see the clock. And when I did, it lit up the million red eyes about us. All about us, watching, waiting. Below it had grown quiet. They'd cleaned us out, and now they, too, were waiting. All waiting. And then the rats, quite suddenly, were silent. And then I heard it. And then I saw the sky and the stars. The rats were gone. I went to the glass. Out there on the water, a small freighter, a banana boat, came softly and innocently at us. The light was out. They didn't know. I wanted to open the windows, to call out to them, to warn them somehow, but I was afraid. What if the rats were hiding from me, tricking me? And so I waited. She grounded very softly on a reef not 200 yards from the quay. Grounded so gently that the man playing the cornet, was he a passenger, a crewman off watch, didn't even stop playing. They tried washing her back off. I could have told them to save their fuel. The tide was rising, would have floated her free. And I waited. That's all. That's the story. The sun came up and there wasn't a rat on the whole quay. Every last one of that terrible army had deserted us, gone back to sea on their new ship. Auguste, insane asylum, he never recovered. And Louis, they took him into Cayenne, where he died of blood poisoning from his bite. Life on Three Skeleton Key isn't bad these days, but sometimes when I see a strange vessel approaching, I get a little nervous. Can you blame me? Somewhere on the seas there's a little banana boat without a crew. That is, without a human crew.
Suspense, in which Vincent Price starred in William N. Robeson's production of Three Skeleton Key.
I'm Dennis Daly. Thanks for going along on our journey through the final 25 years of radio. Radio's golden years. Join me again next time.